it's Jennifer. Welcome back to my channel. The school year is about to start, and so I wanted to sit down and film a video about college advice that I wish I knew, or the things that I learned throughout the year. Since my channel really focused on my first year of me really adjusting and learning my new way of life, I just thought that this would be a really good video to film. It may be late, but NYU doesn't start school until early September, so I don't really know when other schools start. So I hope that this helps as many people as it can and help, ease up some people's worries. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so I have a bunch of notes on my phone that I'm kind of be looking off of, but I divided my advice into 4 main categories. So first I have a school-related, more academic-focused advice. Then I have about making friends, about life in general, like habits and everything, and then NYU-specific. So first we're going to start off with the more school-related advice. So first, once you have been in your classes like once or twice and you have all your syllabus, I would recommend to go through each one, go to like a calendar, or if you use Notion, like make a new sheet and basically put in all of the dates that have your exams, your big assignments like projects, essays, and just put it all in one big nice spot so that you can refer to it really easily. I think this is important because sometimes you don't realize how close your exams may be to each other. So having it all in one spot allows you to look at it really easily, so that when the time comes, you know how to manage your time better for studying and writing and finishing your assignments. And then also, this is pretty good too when it comes to traveling. Sometimes your exams may end before break officially starts, so you may potentially be able to go home earlier than others, and it's good to just know in advance so that you can book tickets as soon as possible so you can get better prices and everything. I think there's a big benefit for studying, but also like if you want to go home for break. So knowing in advance when all your exams are and having that in one spot is really handy and will make things a lot less stressful. One thing too that I think is really good, that once you're a couple weeks in and you're pretty well adjusted to your classes, is to start thinking a little bit long term and creating a 4-year plan. This is something that NYU made me do when I was registering for my spring classes, but I wish I kind of started a little bit earlier. Basically, you don't have to make it super detailed. I just think it's a good time to sit down and really find out what are the requirements that you need to fulfill for your intended major if you want to do a minor, but also some colleges have special requirements that you need to do. So it's just good to really know what you have, all your requirements, and have them all written down, and making sure that you're addressing each one in your 4-year plan. This is also good if you want to study abroad, because you can find out when is the best time. If you want to do it your 2nd year, your 3rd year, it's just really good to have a general idea of what your schedules are going to be like for future years. And it's important to know that some majors have more requirements than others. So if you wanted to really do a minor, it might be more difficult. So just having that all planned out in advance will allow you to have more time to talk to your counselors about how you can make everything that you want, all your goals achieved and everything. So this is kind of building off of your 4-year plan and scheduling. But one thing that I didn't know is enrollment priority. So basically what that means is that the more credits or hours you have as a student, it will allow you to register for classes earlier than other people. And this is important because for me, at NYU at CAS, we have a core curriculum that we have to complete. So we have this category called text and ideas and cultures and context. And so those categories have classes with different topics. And so if you really want a topic that you are interested in, you might want to wait until you're older and have more credits to apply to register for that class earlier than other people, because you're fighting against a lot more people when it's compared to a major specific class. So that's just important to know if you really want to get into a class that you really like and you're interested in, but you don't want to stress about it filling up super fast and then having to make last minute schedule changes before your registration time. So that's just something that you might want to know. If there's a popular class that has limited spacing that you want to take, you might want to wait until your later years to register for it so that you are more likely guaranteed to get into the class once you register. So that's all I really have have for the academic section. If you are curious about like more study specific advice, I can make a video about that. Just like let me know in the comments and I'll try my best to make that work. But now we're gonna go into making friends and socializing, which I know is a really big deal if you're moving and you're going to college and you don't really know anyone who's going. So everyone talks about welcome week, and welcome week, it's known to be a time where everyone is socializing. There's a lot of events where you can meet a bunch of people. But for me personally, welcome week wasn't the best experience. I'm generally a pretty outgoing person, but I was really like shy when I during my first weeks of school, because I was so overwhelmed by everything and having to be away from home, not having my mom near me. Like, it was really scary, and I got really burnt out during the first few days, because since everyone is trying to make friends, you're gonna be talking to a lot of different people, and sometimes you just get burnt out with all this social interaction. Like, my social battery died really quickly, and it's perfectly normal though, because I feel like for welcome week, a lot of the conversations I had were like, what's your name? What's your major? Where do you live? And like, what's your Instagram? And that was really it. So it's kind of like surface level conversation. I wasn't really getting to know the person. So don't worry too much if welcome week isn't the best experience for you. If you don't really end up with a bunch of friends, it's, perfectly normal. And I honestly recommend to make friends with people who are in your classes, because I feel like it's a lot easier to have something to talk about, and like, you can study together, ask each other for homework and like questions and stuff. So I think there's a lot more potential for you to be friends with someone who's in your class, rather than like a bunch of people during welcome week. So that's just what worked best for me. And a lot of my friends right now from school are people that I had classes with. If you want to make friends with people in your class, I would recommend to talk to people like in your recitations and labs, because those are usually smaller groups compared to like a big lecture. So it's a lot easier to like go up to someone and talk to them, compared to like a big room with like 700 people. So like my chemistry and biology class had like 500 people. So my recitations and labs were way smaller groups, like 20 people, and it was a lot easier to talk and like socialize with a smaller group than like a big vast group. I wouldn't be afraid to take initiative when you are trying to make friends. Don't be scared to ask like, let's go to lunch or like dinner, or do you want to study at the library? Because those are things that a lot of people do. So it's a lot more fun to like go eat lunch at the dining hall with someone rather than going by yourself. And I think it's a really easy opportunity to like socialize and like kind of move out of the just classroom space and like start socializing outside with your friends. And one thing that I think I really had to work on is turning one category friendships into deeper friendships. And that might make no sense, but once I explain it, I hope it makes a lot more sense. So basically, like, there are people that you, like, let's say you have a friend in class, a lot of the time it might be easy just to talk to that person about that class, like, hey, like, what was the homework for this, or like that, and you're not really getting to know the person. And so a lot of people you meet are gonna be like that, like, oh, you only really text them when you have a question about an assignment, or like, do you want to go study? So I think that it's important to be mindful that if you really want to make a nice friendship, to really branch out of those topics and try to like, figure out more about their interests, or talking more about their plans or like their career goals or anything, breaking out of the habit of only talking about school, because it is really easy to talk about school, but you don't want to be like, if you really want to have nice, long-lasting friends, you want to like be able to really get to know the person more than the student that they are. So now about life in general. So you're going to have a lot more free time in college than you did in high school. And I think that's pretty true for most people, because you don't have like a full like 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock schedule. You're gonna have a lot of time to work with. So I think it's important to remember to give yourself breaks, but also to make sure you don't slack on your studies. Because sometimes like I'd be like, oh, I have a lot of time, I'm gonna take a nap. And then I wake up from my nap and I'm lazy and I'm like, I'm just gonna like, watch a few YouTube videos. And then in the end, I'm like stressing because I didn't really get my assignment done. So I think it's important to make sure you keep yourself accountable and work on your time management. Next, make sure to really take care of yourself. Your parents aren't with you for the most part, like if you go out of state for college, you know? So getting sick and stuff can be a lot scarier when you're in an unknown place. Also too, my roommate, she wasn't 18 yet when she got sick, and so when she tried to go to the doctors, it was really hard for her. So she needed a guardian, but her parents weren't nearby. So I think it's really important to do your best to really take care of yourself, make sure that you're healthy. You know, if you're feeling a little bit sick, you know, make sure you get enough rest and everything. Personally for me, like I am really scared to get sick without my mom because she's a pharmacist too, so she knows all about medicine. So it's really scary for me. Like I think I would be really worried, and you know, you have to start really taking care of yourself. You know, your parents won't be there to like make sure you're getting the proper medicine and everything. One thing too that I think a lot of people, like some people had to work on, is checking the weather. It may seem like super irrelevant, but coming from someone who's always been in a car my whole life, I usually, if it rained or anything, like I was in the car and there was an umbrella in the car, so I would just go, you know, everything will be okay. But when you're walking around campus and you didn't check if it was gonna rain, and then like your class is 10-minute walk and you don't have an umbrella and you're just walking in the rain, it's not the most enjoyable experience. So try to get into the habit of checking the weather when you get ready. Or honestly, what I started doing is I just left an umbrella in my backpack. So, you know, if you have space, just leave an umbrella in there just so that you don't get rained on, because there's gonna be a lot of walking when you're on campus. And lastly, I would try your best to update your family and, you know, your friends from home about how you're doing. You know, sometimes things can get really busy and you may get worked up and don't have enough time to really talk to your loved ones from home. But I recommend trying to remember to do it at least once a week. You know, sometimes when I was going through really hard times, just talking to my mom or my best friend from home really helped me feel better, and I didn't even realize like how much it would help me until I did it. So I would recommend doing that. You know, it's okay to ask, you know, to tell your family that you're not doing well or that you're sad, because they can comfort you. And I think it's just important to know, don't keep it all bottled inside, and talking to people from home can really help. So that is all the advice that I have for, you know, general colleges. So now I'm going to move on to my NYU-specific section. So one thing that I had such a struggle, and also like my roommate too, Selena, we struggled so much with using our meal plan. We had so many meal swipes like at the end of first semester, and so for second semester we were like, we need to find out how we can use as many as possible. So the best dining halls to go to when you're trying to spend meal swipes are Kimmel, Upstein, Palladium, and then Sightseeing. So Sightseeing is not like an actual like dining hall. It's a little market in Weinstein, the dorm, and you can buy like a cereal and get like a little carton of milk and I think like chips or like a fruit, and that's like one meal swipe. So you can like buy 5 cereals and then spend 5 meal swipes. And then at like Kimmel and Upstein, you can buy little sushis, and like each tray is 1 meal swipe, so you can get like 2 rolls and like an edamame, and that's like 3 meal swipes. So you're really spending a lot in like during 1 meal. But if you're on the other hand where you really want to get a bang for your buck and like you know, really save as many meal swipes as you can, or like reserve them, then the best place to go to are Third North, Downstein, and Lipton, because those are like, I would say like traditional dining halls where they're like buffet style. So you just swipe in once and then you can eat as much as you want when you're in there. And also too, NYU, we use Grubhub because some places like Upstein, and then where else? For some reason Upstein, and then the Paulson Center, the new building that we have, you can order food ahead of time on Grubhub, the app. But I would just be wary of it sometimes, because during certain hours, like during lunchtime, like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, the orders fill up so much, so you may be waiting a lot longer than you expect to get your food. So just keep that in mind if you're ordering during like peak lunch times on Grubhub, because you may have to like wait longer than expected. One thing too is NYU has NYU Safe Ride, and this is like a service where if you're at like an NYU building and it's past 12 a.m., they will have a driver take you to like another NYU building for free. And it's just a really good thing to know, because let's say you're studying late at the library and your dorm is at let's see, you live at U-Haul, which is like a 10-15 minute walk from the library, and you know, you feel unsafe, you can just call an NYU Safe Ride and then get escorted home, say, you know, safely, and you're making sure that you're not walking outside that late by yourself. But the one thing about NYU Safe Ride is it's an app. They have an app for it. Sometimes you may have a long wait. So if you're planning on leaving the library at like 12:30 or something, or you can use NYU Safe Ride with any NYU building to another NYU building. So it isn't just like the library. So like, let's say you're at your friend's dorm and it's like 1 a.m. You're planning on leaving at like 1:30. You may want to check the NYU Safe Ride app and make sure that you can get a pickup like at a decent time and not have to wait too long. Yeah, I think lastly, if you're going to NYU, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to explore in the city. So make sure you take advantage of that, you know, once a week, try doing something new and exciting. You know, we don't have a traditional campus, so technically you can just really take advantage of the city around you as your campus and everything. For anyone who feels really stressed and nervous about going to college, it's perfectly okay. It's a really fun time, but it's also like very scary if you're moving to a new place by yourself. But just remember that, like, I think college is a time where you really are exploring and like finding out who you are. So don't be scared to like try new things and like do things that you've always wanted to do. Yeah, that is the end to my advice video. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I know I stuttered here and there, but I really tried my best to get my points across without rambling too much. Good luck in college to all of you who are watching. I know you will do the best. You know, just put in your best effort and, you know, don't be too harsh on yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. My NYU vlogs will be coming up soon once I move back in September. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys as soon as possible. Bye!